We're here getting this set up to go to YouTube, and I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to do something at Zoom that breaks that process.
Nope,
So,
that makes sense. One thing at a time.
yeah, we're here. I don't want to do something at Zoom that
There it is at the slight delay. I heard it.
breaks that process. So. Okay. It appears to be working. Do that. So now let me go back here.
Do you
Okay,
want me to email that connection to Jade, or will you do that?
I'm
Or
doing it
does
right
Jade
now.
remember?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just doing it right now.
Okay.
So then we also have to pray it actually works
Yes.
for her.
Mhm.
I saw you found a time for us, you and Diane and I to meet. Thank you.
Yes. Hmm.
Um, the simple answer is I actually think we don't do anything
Hmm.
with IMLS until
Hmm.
May. Um, and then although we might want to do the budget spreadsheet over to see what implications that has for like how much of like I have to be off contract for 2 months.
Hmm.
And so what's that 2 months of my buyout
Hmm.
that has to get because if we could spend that on participants, we could just do that, kind of overspend in a category.
Hmm.
Um, because we can move up to 10% out of a category without it being a problem. And given your buyout is also there,
Hmm.
my 2 months will be less than 10%.
Okay.
So, and then the issue is technically that project goes through September.
Yes, and you're on contract, and Diane knows the financial part through
Yeah.
July.
Right. Oh, am I only on through July?
But also, I'd want to double check with Diane. I
Okay.
think through July.
I think I thought, well, anyways, we'll just find out
Yeah.
what it is.
Hmm.
So the other possibility is I can go back on contract
Hmm.
on August 1.
Hmm.
But you have to contract me differently
Okay.
because there's no buyout anymore because I don't have a salary anymore.
Hmm.
So instead you have to pay me.
Gotcha. Diane will know more of
But
the
if we
financial
can
part.
just get the money spent out, we should just do that,
Okay.
is my view.
Hmm.
Because I don't see any reason for us to try and prolong this. And also there's no way we're applying for a follow-up grant by March 13th.
No. Oh, yeah. Not this. Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a NOFO out there now for IMLS
Hmm.
where they actually are doing a call for proposals, but you have to put in a full proposal by March 13th.
Hmm.
So, not happening this year.
No, that.
But it does mean that maybe it could happen next year.
Hmm. Yeah, that it's promising that IMLS still has that potential, which I was
Right.
not thinking was going to happen at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, which is also kind of exciting.
Hmm.
Um, I have not I have not had a chance to meet the new director yet of
Hmm.
CARLI. I presume
Hmm.
you have, but this can't
Yes.
possibly be the top of the list of all the possible things she needs to be
Hmm.
dealing with right now. Um,
And just as an aside on that too, she wasn't like Anne did switch the invitation to
right.
this meeting, and Lori messaged me to say that she does plan to be here today, but
Oh,
she will
awesome.
be late because she had an appointment this morning. So
Sure.
at some point she will pop into the meeting,
Okay.
and
That's great.
wasn't sure what the expectation was for her to be here, if there is an expectation.
I mean, there's really not
Yeah,
but I mean,
she
expectation's a
can.
funny word, right? It's like,
Right.
well, none of us expected Anne to be there, and I mean, this is Anne's project.
Yeah.
So,
So I can just say it's to say hi. if that's okay for her to
Yeah,
just
well,
say
and
hi to
for her
people.
to become more familiar, I mean, this is a
Yes.
not a bad way for her to start getting familiar with this program.
Hmm.
Because even if we don't have an IMLS grant,
Hmm.
which we won't for next year, we might want to be trying to do a pilot. Which, so here's
Hmm.
the other idea I have. If there's money
Hmm.
left in the grant, we ask
Hmm.
for a no cost extension to do something next year,
Hmm.
right? So it could be um to kick off Carly Count 7 with one other consortia participate as a team,
Hmm.
right? And some of those consortium are close enough. I mean, people from Indiana could just drive here as easily as people from Chicago and Carbondale,
It's true, yeah.
right? So if like it's Palney, right? Or is it Palsy?
Um, I forget. I'm
Whichever
not
of the
all up on
pals
my.
it is, I mean, they could be our partner very easily with not having to incur a high travel cost.
Hmm.
And if we had the grant that like basically still was paying for us to test out ideas,
Hmm.
we could subvent their participation
Hmm.
with the grant so that they would be on the same terms as Carly participants.
Hmm.
There's a program happening, you get yourself here, but then the grant is covering. And we would just have to do a no cost extension for that with a
Hmm.
budget request.
Yeah, that's a good potential if there probably will be some money left over.
I
So
feel
yeah.
like there's going to be money left over, so
Hmm.
so we could try out our pilot idea,
Hmm.
right? And say, "Oh, this is great because this was a planning grant. We are working towards a mark." Because then if we were able to do that, kick something
Hmm.
off, we could then basically put in a proposal, weirdly, 1 month into the pilot next
Hmm.
March,
Hmm.
saying, "We'd like to expand this."
Hmm.
And like get back on track with our idea of at least being able to do this on a national basis for a while with
Hmm.
grant coverage, which also would then cover Carly's participation.
Hmm.
So we
Yeah.
subvent that back again. So, anyways, but the long story short is I don't think we need to do anything with IMLS until May, which
Okay.
gets us past it gets us past also like reconciling everything that happens in Florida. So we actually know how much money we're dealing with.
Hmm.
So from that perspective, it's really good.
Yeah,
So
and for the by not doing anything, is that like the white paper part of things too?
well, I mean, I would finish the white, I'm supposed to write the white paper, so I would write
Yeah.
that before May 31st.
Okay, that was one
So,
piece I was wondering
yeah,
about.
yeah, I
Okay.
would just have that done. So
Hmm.
basically, we'd have everything done. Okay, we should
Hmm.
probably let in other people.
Yeah, should we? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
first
just because,
person's here.
yeah. I'll let you let them in while I go and get my
Okay,
PowerPoint open.
sounds good.
I have not done yet either. Right. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Jen. Sorry, not Jennifer. Jen.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
All right.
Did you have a good break?
I did. I
Good.
did. How about you?
Yeah, I had an okay break. Little, I was sick, but I
Oh,
can
yeah.
do.
I feel like we're just like students when we get into the break time, we all just like collapse.
Yeah.
Mm. And the body is like, oh, there's a moment to rest here. Let me just like,
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, Evie.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, excellent. How was the all-day retreat or half-day retreat on Tuesday?
It was fine. No, no news.
No news. Uh, great. Oh, Jen or Evie, did either of you hear about how immersion went this past summer when it was up in Chicago? Okay.
Yeah,
I
I don't know
haven't-
anyone who did it.
Okay, me neither. So, but I was like, I'm not super part of those instruction communities, so
Um, I didn't even know it was happening, to be honest.
oh, okay. Somebody just contacted me early this week, and was like, does immersion exist anymore? And I'm like, yes. And it was held, but I'm not part of it anymore. So that's all I can tell you. But then it got me really like curious. So then I was like, oh, what did happen? So, hey, Kylie,
Hello, good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Can still say that for a few more days before it just gets ridiculous. I feel like once classes start, then it's the beginning of the semester is the end of the new year. I guess I'm also being very U of I centric here, where I'm thinking classes haven't started. So I don't know if they have for either of you.
Yeah,
It's
ours
always a
started
little bit of
Monday.
a shock. Yeah, it's like, wait, it's school has started again. It's like it's always a little bit of a shock.
Yeah. Right. Oh. Hey, Kennedy.
Hello, hello.
Hey. Hi, Anne. To rearrange Zoom so I can see more of your faces. So much easier to talk to actual people rather than just like a blank computer screen.
Mhm.
All right, we'll do our usual wait till 1 or 2 minutes after the hour before we kick off, but hey, Max. Hey, Sarah. And Karen. This is the season where I have a space heater running under my desk. We're at home.
I selfishly like the cats get a little extra cuddly when it's cold, so it's kind of like,
Uh-huh.
huh, maybe I will keep the temperature at like 60 in here and get some extra cuddles.
Yeah. We just don't have a basement, and so with a crawl space, the floor is just always cold.
Yes.
It's worse in our sunroom because that's a concrete slab.
Hmm.
So
Oh, so whatever the temperature is, just
there's
like,
even less like that concrete just absorbs the cold and it's painful
mhm.
almost. Yeah. Hey, Kimberly.
Hi, my computer's updating, so I'm connecting from my phone, but I'll switch
Oh.
over.
Okay, no worries. Glad you're here. Zoom is always deciding it's tired and wants to update right when I'm trying to log into something. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to, actually, Debbie, can you be in charge of recording? And that way I can concentrate on the presentation here.
Yeah, are you ready for me to start it now?
Yep. So, great. So welcome everyone to our final webinar. We've combined February and January into one, which is next steps and graduation. It kind of feels like we've been saying goodbye multiple times because we had the in-person meeting and then Anne tried to say goodbye to you in December and say there were no more webinars, but there are no more for her. So of course, this is very bittersweet here that we have our last webinar here without Anne for this this cohort. But from what I see, she's doing well and enjoying her retirement. So we have a very short agenda today, and so I don't think we'll take the entire time, but we have some things we want to talk through and make sure that you hear about opportunities as well as your final task, and then we'll have a little celebrating. So we made it this final webinar. And well, we made it as soon as February 1 comes around and you turn in your individual progress report. So there is still one more task, but we'll talk about that again. Hopefully not too burdensome. You've been working through this process all along. So just these are slides you saw when we were together last on the case study or the progress report. So I just wanted to remind you, it's a progress report. However far you got is correct. If you finished, great. If you didn't finish, also fine. Wherever you are. The point is you learned something. You're going to submit your own report, so it's not a team report. And it's due February 1st to myself and Michelle, just like your team report. So very much looking forward to seeing those reports and reading them and understanding how far you came along with this process. Managed to mute before the sneeze. That was very dexterous of myself. Okay, so as a reminder, the case study is also a public document. It's going to be on the CARLI website for other people to read. So something to be aware of, if the goal is to document the project, enable other people to replicate it if they're so inspired. And then, we use these as the basis of advocacy and claims for collective impact for CARLI. So it has a learning function for you, a community of practice function for the rest of CARLI Counts, and then an advocacy function for CARLI itself. So lots riding on this, but it's really only a report of what did you do? What did you learn? What's your next steps? Before I move on from this, do you have any questions about your individual case study or progress report? Okay, so as a reminder, there is a template, a Word template in Canvas that you can download and fill out, and these are the parts. So I tried to make it really easy for you by turning it into, like, you don't write a 5-page report, you fill out a worksheet. And that way, it's very clear. And like, if you only got to methods of data collection and analysis and you don't have findings yet, you just stop there and say, my next step is to get findings. Like, and then you just jump ahead to the others of next steps, other results, and additional reflections. Okay. So whatever you can fill out is great. So good. And as you're working on this, if you have questions, you can always email your team leader, talk to other people on your team, email me. Happy to look at a draft if you just want to see if something is as fulsome or if you want me to read it for tone or anything like that. I will read them before we put them online. One year we did have somebody who forgot that it was going to be a public document, and I looked at it and I was like, are you sure you want to say this about your boss? And they were like, oh, no, I do not. Which, I mean, it wasn't untrue, but maybe not something you wanted public, right? So just think about that with a public audience. So what is next? So one of the great things about CARLI Counts, and we've talked about this a number of times, is that many, many people are able to leverage the work they've done here into something more broadly. Whether it's a conference proposal, a publication, and then there's also opportunities within CARLI to stay engaged and get engaged. So the first thing I want to suggest is a lot of times people think like, well, so the big thing is you probably need either findings or lessons learned that you're reporting on. Now, you could have lessons learned that are reflective lessons learned on doing the work, but most people aren't going to want to just hear like, oh, and now I'm collecting my data, right? So for a proposal or a publication, you need some conclusions, either from the project itself. I did this research, investigated this, here's what I found, here's what it means, like that scholarly article. But there's other kinds of proposals and publications that are like reflective essays. So for example, College and Research Libraries News often publishes sort of more essays that are personal reflection or summaries of projects that don't necessarily have strong research findings. It could also be lessons you learned about yourself as an evaluator or assessor. Lots of ways to take this. Just to be clear about a couple things that sometimes people are curious about, you do not need CARLI's permission to make a proposal to publish your work. This is your work. You can take it forward. We appreciate if you acknowledge CARLI counts, either in the acknowledgement section, or if you're going to be talking about the curriculum, we would like you to cite the curriculum, which is available on the CARLI site in its OER form that you can always cite to. So credit, but not permission. And I am also available to you as part of my role as the CARLI Counts facilitator to talk with you about this, review a draft of what you want to propose, look at a draft manuscript, whatever you need. So just because CARLI Counts is ending with our formal engagement doesn't mean your access to CARLI Counts staff ends. So if you want to do something following on with your project, you want to keep going with it, I am still available to you. So someplace that a lot of people have said, I mean, there's the obvious national conferences and the like, but I just want to mention a lot of people have had a good luck proposing to the Illinois Library Association conference, which is often more feasible for people. You're not traveling outside of the state. It's a shorter conference. This year it's being held in Peoria in October 6th through 8th. The call for proposals is not out yet. When you go to the committee, when you go to the conference site, it's still the 2025 conference. So I've linked you to the conference program committee here. Usually they put the proposal out early February. So we'll see it. But I also want to talk about some possibilities because we've had people do different things at ILA. So obviously you could propose to do a presentation or a poster about your project. Your team can also propose something about your teamness, what you learned working together, the way you collaborated, something around that notion of sort of community of learning kind of thing. The other thing we've had is multiple CARLI Counts participants putting a panel proposal together around a thematic topic. And it wouldn't even have to just be people from cohort 6. You could look back at other reports and pull people in or reach out to them, saying, for example, that we want to do a panel on how community college libraries have investigated their impact on student learning and success. Or we want to do a panel on how different Illinois academic libraries have looked at the reference consultation or student worker impact, right? So again, it could be all from this cohort. It could be looking at past cohorts as well. It could also be people who weren't in CARLI Counts, but did this kind of work. Okay. And then, of course, by the student impact that was investigated. So if you were looking at the impact on learning, the impact on information literacy, the impact on retention, the impact on confidence, whatever it was, you could also have a panel around that, which is saying, okay, these are all projects that looked at the impact of the library on this outcome. This person looked at it in reference. This person looked at it in instruction. This person looked at it in collections, maybe by different institution types as well. So just don't think like, oh, I don't know if my project is enough. You could also think about yourself as doing this with a group. So lots of options. If she doesn't mind, because we have the privilege that Lori, the new director of CARLI, was able to join us, I'd love to give her a moment just to say hi as we're working through this. I see she's turned on her camera. So, Lori, would you like to say hello to the final meeting of the CARLI Counts 6 participants? Maybe not. Okay, something's maybe gone wrong with her technology, so we'll see if we can get her in a little bit later. Okay, so in addition to, if you're trying to figure out where you could publish your work, so again, conversation with Lisa can be very helpful here. But in addition to any resources your library subscribes to or purchases, the LIS librarian at my library maintains a guide of openly available resources in LIS. And so I know not all of you have great access to the LIS literature. And so there are many open access resources. And so if that was motivating to you that you wanted to try and pursue publication in one of them, he does have this guide. It's framed as after graduation because it's of course framed as our students who are graduating and losing access to our library. But I think it's a useful resource for this group as well. So
Hi, sorry.
oh,
I
great,
didn't-
Lori. Yes, we can hear you. Now I'll
Yes, I was
pause for a
frozen-
greeting from
frozen
our
for a minute.
sponsor.
So it's good to see everybody here today. I was able to kind of listen in, but I was driving the last time, so I didn't really get to fully participate. But really good to see everybody. When I was interviewing for this position with CARLI, I talked about CARLI Counts an awful lot because it is, it's something that is known across library consortia, across the whole country. So the work that you're doing is just so important, and I know that it's going to, continue to impact the like advocacy for libraries and just the awareness of the work that your libraries are doing. So happy to be here with you all today, and just very, a great admirer of the work that you're doing.
Great. Thanks, Lori. We're really glad to have you be a supporter of this program as well. And it's nice to know you had heard word. So feel free to jump in as well when we're having our discussion and our dialogue if there's anything you want to add, particularly as I get to this next one where I'm going to talk about CARLI. So there are opportunities for CARLI Council alumni. First is that you will shortly be subscribed to the CARLI Council alumni listserv, which will be all of the CARLI people who have participated in CARLI Counts over the past 6 years. So you're going to be joining that broader community and have access to a larger conversation. There will also be calls to present that CARLI sends out. So it's pretty common, for example, for the instruction committee to be soliciting for speakers, but not only the OER committee. It kind of depends what your project was, obviously, whether you'll be a match to any of these, but there are opportunities to present. We may also be soliciting you sort of formally sometimes because as we talk about CARLI counts to other consortia and the like, sometimes we're doing a webinar or the like, and it's really great to have a participant or two telling their story of their experience rather than me telling people what your experience was. So watch for those opportunities to present. As you know, we're taking a break this coming year to focus on the calls project, which is our attempt to scale this to a national level. But we have every intention of coming back to having CARLI counts. And so we hope that you'll consider being a mentor in a future cohort. I know at least a couple of you have reached out to me to ask about that experience and what's possible. It's really, as you know, from being on your own teams, that mentor role is a real special one and one that really helps the whole program work. And many of our mentors have also presented about the impact of mentoring on their own careers and the way it's helped them grow as a professional. And then we hope you'll participate in future CARLI Counts meetups. Last year, we had a one-day unconference that Devin was kind enough to host at IIT with his other IIT colleagues, and we're hoping to do something like that again in the future. We had some presentations, we had some open discussion time, updates, and some good just some good networking and chance to reconnect with each other. So we hope that we'll be doing that as well. And if any of you would like to help facilitate or host a afternoon kind of session or morning or day, please be in touch because we're always looking for a partner. Given CARLI itself doesn't really have a physical location. And it's also good if we can do these in different geographies. So it was great to be up in the Chicago area and the like. Yes, Kimberly got to present at Charleston. I feel like I got to present with Kimberly. It was great. So some other CARLI opportunities that you may or may not be aware of that I just want to make sure that you are. You attended the CARLI annual meeting this past 2025 in the fall. The CARLI annual meeting, much like its name, happens annually. And everyone who works in a CARLI library is welcome at the CARLI annual meeting every year. You don't have to be doing a special project or the like. And so that is already scheduled for 2026. This link has the information. It's in November, and I can't remember what the date is, but it's there. And then there'll be a call for registration, etc. You should consider participating in other professional development events, of which there are many, many, many that CARLI sponsors, especially through the Professional Development Alliance with a number of other library consortia. There are a great amount of training that's available to you either directly through CARLI or through some of these other partnerships. I'd also really encourage you to subscribe to CARLI Announce and other listservs. You may not realize that there are listservs for a number of other topics, so take a look at what's there and consider receiving information from CARLI on those issues. Obviously a more passive thing, but definitely something you could consider. Finally, last but definitely not least, please consider volunteering for a committee or task force within CARLI. And Sarah just put in her +1 to that. There are a number of ongoing committees within CARLI that I can look in who's logged in here and see where you match into this very well. Lots of different committees, both topical, area of library work, some very broad, like public services, technical services, Others more specific, like the instruction committee or the e-resources management committee. So some good opportunities there to continue being part of this community in a more formal way. Oh, second, third, everyone says be on a CARLI committee. One of the things I really appreciate about the CARLI committees, which is a little different than, say, example, ACRL or ALA, the way CARLI engages with its committee is each committee has a staff member in CARLI who is sort of connected to it and helps it be successful. So if you've been on an ACRL committee or an ALA committee, you might have sometimes found that depending who the committee chair is, the committee could be really active and it could be really rewarding, or nothing could happen. That doesn't happen with CARLI committees because there is this staff engagement that helps support the committee chair and helps support the committee making sure that it's productive, which I think is part of what makes it such a rewarding committee, because you know you're going to do some work that's going to be meaningful for our collective. So we have a little bit of time here. Does anyone have any questions about these CARLI opportunities or about what it's like to serve on a committee? Because it seems like we have a lot of people who could speak to that. All right, I'm going to keep flowing ahead, but you'll have to tell me if you get to something. So we want to move to a moment here to do a memories and reflections time. So I'm going to give you some time to work on your own, to take a moment to answer these 4 questions for yourself. And then we are going to do a round robin, where, just so you know where we're going. You'll choose one question of the 4 and share your answer with the group. So some of these are more personal. Some of these are more sort of at arm's length. So you can pick the one that's most comfortable for you. But we're looking for the opportunity for you to share a memory or a reflection. So I'll go ahead and set a timer for 3 minutes, and then we'll come back together to hear your reflections. I'm sorry, I'm going to add one other thing. We're going to shut the recording off for doing the reflections, and that will create a little bit safer space for the reflections. It will also allow Jade to come in and join us. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording right now so she can hear the end of it trailing on YouTube and then get herself logged in over here. Okay. Thanks everyone. Oops. Jade, apparently I cannot stop the transcript. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't realize that an accessibility feature would also be a problem for you.
Well, is it transcribing or is it just a transcript
It's just the transcript.
but it's recording it?
It is live transcription that can be saved.
Okay. But it's not an AI note taker.
It is not an AI note taker.
Okay. Then
It's just it's just an
think it might-
accessibility feature. Thanks everyone. Jade, apparently I cannot stop the transcript. Oops. Know what to tell
Oh,
you.
the YouTube is.
I didn't realize. Oh, Jade, you need to mute the YouTube.
I just did.
Okay. So it's not an AI, it's just the feature in in Zoom that creates accessibility.
Okay. I think it might be okay.
Okay. No one saved the transcript, please. How's that? So we can keep Jade with us. And I'll make sure that the recording doesn't have it. That I post in the CARLI Counts canvas. So, because I know I can delete it later, I just can't seem to stop it from being created right now. Okay. Thank you, because we really want to have you here, Jade. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll do this in the order that people would like to. So I'll let you, if everyone would raise their hand, and then I'll just call on you in the order that your hands are raised, to share your reflection in response to one of these questions. I'm going to say that I'll go first while you're putting your hands up. That the one thing I learned about my campus is that you can stream a Zoom to YouTube, and I learned how to do it, which was a big learning experience, but I'm very happy to know it's possible. So great. All right, good. Kennedy has followed directions. Other people, put your hands up.
Woo!
So I know the order to call on you.
I'm going to say that one thing that I learned about myself, is that assessment satisfies my urge to show off and brag on my library. It's nice for that I get to just always tell people, hey, look at this cool stuff we're doing and look how well we did it. So that's very nice and it's scratches that itch. So yeah.
Great. Fantastic. Kylie.
Yeah, so I will talk about something that I learned just about academic librarianship and libraries in general. And it's that how cool it is that we are so connected to each other, specifically in CARLI Counts, but also just in CARLI in general. It was so cool to see like so many people that are part of CARLI or had done CARLI Counts at ILA and LOX this year, and how just like excited everyone is to always talk about things and share information and talk about projects and things like that. So that's been a really cool experience from this.
That's cool. Was there a presentation from somebody at LOX who had done CARLI, or were they just attending?
They were just attending, and I had recognized some people that had done, from the CARLI instruction committee that had done a couple of presentations too. So
Okay.
not just CARLI Counts, but like kind of just like the broader CARLI
Yeah.
community in general.
Yeah. Yeah. I shouldn't say just attending. Obviously, attending is not just, but I was just like, oh, did somebody present? We got to know this. So, all right, Jen.
Let's see. So I guess one thing I learned about my campus is that not everyone might be as excited about assessment as I am. And but some people are. So with my project, I really needed the help from my colleagues to do this. And eventually everyone came along. So I guess that's the lesson, is like just try and move forward, even if everyone isn't that excited and maybe doesn't see a need, because I do know it's important, and do my best to work with everybody, and sort of build enthusiasm where I can.
Oh, I muted to cough and then, so that's why Anne hasn't heard me say her name a couple times. Anne.
Like trying to read your lips. I'm like, is she saying Anne? I'll wait.
Mm.
So one thing I learned about my campus is that a lot of what people are calling assessment in different areas of campus is not exactly, either it's not really assessment in the way that they think it is, or they're doing a lot of talking about things as being causation when it's maybe correlation at best, and sometimes using that to make like decisions in different areas of campus. So it's just kind of like, I have like my radar antenna up now, like not that I can always affect change, but at least I can be aware of where assessment is being talked about correctly and where, I kind of need to ask more questions.
Okay, great. Tabitha.
So one thing that I'll always remember about Carly Counts, I think, is the in-person intensives. I'm pretty new in library work, and I felt like they were really encouraging, and just like it was so enjoyable to be in a group with other like librarians who are further in their journey and like learning so much from everyone. And just like the joint commitment that everyone has to like help their academic community and just to pour into libraries in general. So it was very encouraging.
Great. Great. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing thing, I think, to be that early in your career and be part of it. Well, we're so glad you were. Devin.
Well, I'll always remember when Jade rescued that dog the night we went out to the brewery. Um, that was very cool. But more practically, I'll say I was just really reminded how just kind of keeping in practice really helps you kind of keep a grasp on theory, keep a grasp on kind of combining the theory and practice in our field.
Great. Max, thanks for participating. I know you're not feeling well, but
Thanks. I think one thing that I learned about my campus is how little most people know about what the library does, but how eager and excited they can be when we show them with data and how willing they are to just get on board with the different projects that we're doing.
okay. Yeah, great. Karen?
So the first one I'm going to say two because I have to. The first one is that Kennedy got engaged, and she shared that with one of our breakout sessions. That was very exciting. So I will always remember her engagement from Carly Counts. But also kind of looking at what we presented with those puzzle pieces in the first intensive and where things have gone. And so I'm kind of looking forward to looking at um, the progress reports to see how much has changed or been like what we've all accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Great. Jade?
I liked all our case studies and our readings that we did. And it was just interesting to me to see how new this research is in the field of librarianship. So I thought that was really cool. And then the thought about embedding like assessment into kind of what we do every day, or having kind of a systematic like reassessment already built in so that it's not like recreating the wheel. Like we already can assess checkouts and things in our catalog. So then how do we assess the people piece of it?
Great. Great. Let's see. Evie, Kimberly, Debbie?
I can go next.
Sure. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my child was texting me and I didn't get a chance to raise my hand, so I figured I'll just go last. But
Okay,
maybe I'm not
great.
last.
Hope everything is okay.
Oh, no. I don't know if anyone else in Champaign's phones are going off right now because we have a critical imminent weather alert.
Yes, it was very startling when my phone suddenly like issued a
Yeah. Basically, my child was like, "Should I be worried?" I was like, "You're in school. You're fine. Stop bothering me." So one thing I learned about myself, I am very deadline driven, and so I had a goal to have this out to a journal for review for publication, and I missed that goal. But because I had three other articles accepted into journals. So part of the learning experience was to be able to set something aside to come back to later in order to meet those other deadlines. So ended up being positive, and now I can work on this for this spring.
Great, great. Debbie?
One of the things I'll always remember about Carly Counts is I have loved meeting all of the different cohorts and all of the different energies that the teams bring and provide to this process. And so each cohort has had a completely different experience and a completely different set of people. And it has just been a wonderful experience to get to meet all of you and to see the way that your connections with each other develop through the course of each year. So thank you all.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Kimberly, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'll always remember the group dynamics. I think my favorite part of Carly Counts is just getting to know the group, and we really hit it off the bat with that first marble run exercise, and kind of that propelled just our group dynamics for the rest of Carly Counts. So a very effective, bonding exercise, and love to my group.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So it's so fun to hear these memories and these ways that Carly Counts has helped us learn, and there might be other things that you've learned as well. Congratulations, Kennedy. Very exciting.
Me too.
So
And Sarah's got her hand up.
oh, Sarah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say that similar to Kimberly, being in person was a great benefit because I was in the two virtual cohorts
Yes.
as a participant and a mentor, but getting to see like what it's like when we get together in person over the course of the year, it makes a big difference in the group dynamic. And I think it's really helpful, especially in getting to know other people too, besides just your immediate team members. So I think it was really beneficial meeting in person.
Yeah. Always our intention. But yeah, Sarah experienced the full gamut of Carly Counts modes, I guess we'll say. Okay, I'm gonna leave the recording off because everything that's coming is gonna send out by email so Jade can stay with us. Okay, I lied. There's not just your report. I'm also gonna ask you to do a post-program survey, which is due on February 10th. So you might remember you took a pre-program survey, or you might not. And this is just going to be sort of that sort of bookend, because of course we like to practice what we preach around assessment and evaluation and get some sense of where your greatest learning was, where maybe you didn't learn as much, so that I can reflect on the curriculum and see if there's things that we can improve I mean, you definitely benefited from being cohort 6 and all the ways that I've iterated in response to feedback over the years, but I still think it could be better because that's kind of how we generally are, right? Like, even when it's good, you want it to be better. So it'd be really helpful to me if you fill out this survey in Canvas. Again, it's going to say it's a quiz. It's not a quiz. If you'd fill that out, and mentors, you don't need to fill it out. So this is for people who did projects. Besides that, congratulations! You are Carly Counts alums. I just want to add my own additional reflection and then open it up if anyone else wants to, that it is truly one of the great privileges of my career to be leading this program. I've had a lot of opportunities in my career to do a lot of really great things, and I feel like this has been one of the most impactful things that I've had the privilege of doing, working within the CARLI structure and really building our community of practice within the CARLI consortia. Some of you may have seen that on LinkedIn and Facebook, I posted that I will be retiring from the university at the end of May. I've worked for I've worked for higher ed institutions in the state of Illinois, 34 years of service. Yes, I did start when I was 22. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm just changing the mode in which I'm engaging. So I will be creating a consultancy that will work with libraries and publishers and hopefully continue working with CARLI just in a different way. Just time to transition from being a state of Illinois employee. So particularly I'm retiring, but I'm not retiring. So it kind of creates this weird like liminal space, but I just want to make sure that people have heard that, as well as the fact that when I say I'm still available to you, I truly am still available to you. I'm just changing the employment category as opposed to disappearing. Um, so does anyone else want to add anything to our final moments here? Our final synchronous cohort 6 moments, I guess I should say.
No, Lisa, thank you so much for all of your work with CARLI Counts. I'm sure everyone agrees. This is now my second time doing CARLI Counts, and both times I learned so much from you. So thank you for sharing your expertise with the community so generously.
Thanks, Devin.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate the value of the in-person pieces of this. I think that those in-person touch points were really important, I think, to get a sense of the group dynamics and the sort of like keeping us sort of like regular deadlines, making sure that, we did the reading, we like, kept up with things. I think that sort of accountability that you hold yourself to is harder online, is harder with just a pure, even synchronous virtual, but especially asynchronous virtual sort of affair. So I really wanted to, say I thought that was a really good part of the course design.
Yeah, I think that's definitely our intention with when we do get to cohort 7, to make sure that there's the in-person. I personally feel like the immersives are so important. But also the synchronous monthly pieces as well. So okay, well, with that, we don't really have like a pomp and circumstance kind of thing, but it's just really great. And as I promised, this webinar is a bit shorter than the other ones, but I know you all have a report to write. So I'll give you an hour back so you can get that going. And I also hope you have a chance to have some sort of closure conversation in your teams, or I believe there are teams that are still like have a WhatsApp group and they still regularly check in with each other from like cohort 3 and 4 and back in time. So perhaps that's also going to be true for you. So all right, well, I will hang out if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, we will call it a day as far as our conversations. Thank you, everyone.